How's it going, everybody? I'm the best is the best that was the best there ever will be. There have been none before me, and there'll be none after me. Therefore, I am the one and only Jay Covey. And welcome to Wrestling Made Simple. We got an action-packed week this week with your news of the week, followed by your SmackDown and Raw reviews. Then we go into a review of Bragging Rights 2010, 2009, whichever was the first one. We will then have my WWE NXT BattleGround predictions, and then we will have our drink of the week, followed by the Battle Droid of the week. Let's get into news this week, though, as four names have left AEW, apparently, as Jake Hagar, Arn Anderson, Paige Van Zant, and Mark Henry have been removed from AEW's roster. Paige, I don't know what this means. Maybe it's just a work. No one knows, but it could lead to something even better. We then have another name who might be leaving, a legend. Jeff Hardy could leave AEW this month, as apparently his contract might be up. He's apparently just sitting at home waiting on the call, but I don't know if he will come back and be the Jeff Hardy of old. People have asked what he should do. Should he go to TNA? Should he stay in AEW? Should he go to WWE, or should he retire? I honestly think it's time for Jeff Hardy to call it a career. His body is clearly giving up, unfortunately. It sucks, but yeah, I think it's time for it. And finally, our last news of the week. Becky Lynch is expected to make a record-setting contract for women's wrestling that will be even more than the Mercedes Moné contract or the Charlotte Flair contract. Becky Lynch has changed the games of women's wrestling, and there is no question that she is going to make a boatload of money, probably even more than Seth Rollins did for his last contract. But that is the news this week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into SmackDown. As SmackDown kicked off with Nia Jax calling out the WWE Women's Champion Bayley, which led to her getting attacked by Piper Niven and Chelsea Green. Chelsea told Nia she doesn't have to worry about facing Bayley at SummerSlam because she will be facing a new champion, Piper Niven. Nia said she doesn't care because she's going to annihilate her opponent and win the title. We then get AJ Styles asking Nick Aldis for some TV time tonight where he will address his future. Aldis asked AJ what he's going to say. AJ said it's going to be hard to say it once. We then get Tommaso Ciampa in a match with tag team champion Austin Theory. Nice little match. It was actually fun to see Tommaso Ciampa pick up a win on the main roster, which hasn't happened much. We then get Andrade versus Apollo Crews. Andrade would pick up the win. We would get Angel Garza watching from ringside saying he was happy when Andrade won, and Legado del Fantasma came out after a match. Santos Escobar looked impressed as well. Andrade walked right past him and ignored him. Santos was not happy about this. We then get the Bloodline. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa versus the Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. Nice little fun match. The Bloodline would pick up the win. And it's really cool to see the Bloodline actually have these new members and them booked very, very strongly. We then get a tag team match of Piper Niven and Chelsea Green versus WWE Women's Champion Bayley and Naomi. Chelsea pinned Naomi to pick up the win in a nice little match. Nothing to write home about. Fun to see. We think AJ Styles coming out saying he can't go to the back of the line at this point, and he is basically ready to call it a career. He's talked about over 20 years. Styles says his son graduated high school from this week. He was there for the party, and he realized how much of his life he missed. He says it's time to go home and be the phenomenal father. He called Gallows and Anderson to the ring and said he could have done it without him. They did too sweet and hugged. He would then get Cody Rhodes come out. Cody Rhodes would hug AJ Styles. AJ would whisper something in his ear. AJ says this is still his house that AJ Styles built, but he wants to hand the keys to Cody. Cody got emotional and thanked him. They hugged. Cody raised AJ's hand, but this led to AJ beating the crap out of Cody. Big Mark Henry swerve here. You have AJ Styles hitting the Styles Clash off the stairs. Gallows and Anderson turning heel once again. I thought this was fun, and again, I really liked the Mark Henry callback here. Even Mark Henry said, "Hey, I was involved in a main event without even having to wrestle. This is awesome." Thought that was a very cool little thing. Let's move on to Raw, though. As Raw kicked off with the Women's World Champion Liv Morgan calling out Dominic Mysterio, saying she wants to take everything that Rhea Ripley has, and that includes Dominic. I think this is really starting to feel forced to me. I'm really not liking the storyline. You would have Balor come out, stop her from, touching Dom. This just feels so fucking forced to me. I have seen the joke, though, that they want to have a ladder match for Dominic Mysterio of Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam. Run it back 20 years later. A ladder match for custody of Dominic Mysterio. That would actually be very, very funny. We then get Ludwig Kaiser versus Sheamus. And actually a very fun match. Ludwig Kaiser would pick up the win. I really enjoyed this storyline because I like that Triple H is really going back to the Attitude Era and getting everyone involved in every match, involved in a storyline. We then get Finn Balor versus Dragon Lee. Finn Balor would win due to interference from Carlito and JD McDonough. After the match, though, as Finn, Carlito, and JD would attack Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio and Braun Strowman would come in to make the save. I want to point out that in his entrance, JD McDonough actually spat water, and you would have Pat McAfee say, "What does he think he is, the cerebral assassin?" I thought that was funny. We think it's Sami Zayn calling out Chad Gable to come to the ring. At Rest of Alpha Academy did and read a letter from Gable that basically said he won't be dealing with Sami until he gets his Intercontinental Championship match. Sami agreed and said make it official for Clash at the Castle. Otis would attack Sami. Gable would. You would then have Sami accidentally knock Maxine and Tozawa off of the ringside area. And this would lead to Otis slamming Sami Zayn. Not being a heel, just feel like he's defending his friends. So, I don't know. I also really don't like this. It kind of makes Otis look like an idiot. We then get Braun Breaker in a nice match with Ricochet. Really showed a clash of styles that we would see from Braun Breaker from Ricochet when he was Prince Puma in Lucha Underground against the monster Matanza Cueto. So if you're looking actually for a really fun little thing to watch to show that Ricochet could go with the bigger guys besides this match, go watch that match from Lucha Underground. Fun to look at. Braun Breaker would pick up the win. He tried to hit Ricochet with the steel steps after the match, but Isla Dragunov prevented and attacked Breaker, punching him in the face. You would then get Kiana James making her Raw debut, defeating Natalya in a nice little match. Again, nothing right home belt, but still was fun to see. You would get Braun Strowman defeating Carlito Finn Balor and JD would try to take Strowman out after the match, but he took them out instead. Dominic pulled Braun's legs and hit Braun with a steel chair. Braun went after him, but Liv Morgan came and basically stood in front of him and saved him from Strowman. Liv tried to get close to Dominic again, but Finn got in between them. We then had Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defend their women's tag team titles against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks. Nice little match, fun. Unfortunately, you wouldn't get too much into it as you would have Isla Dawn and Alba Fire get involved and take out the women's tag team champions. We would then have Jey Uso plan to say he was planning to join in the Money in the Bank ladder match and plans to win it this year. After this, we got Io Sky attacking Lyra Valkyria after she tried to join in on the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We would then get a tag team match between the Authors of Pain and the New Day. The Authors of Pain would pick up the win. Again, fun match. Authors of Pain pick up the win. They're really hinting at a Xavier Woods heel turn. And I actually posted on Twitter. I said, I'm calling it. Kofi Kingston turns heel on Xavier Woods. It's the biggest swerve of the year. We then get your main event of Damian Priest versus Rey Mysterio. Fun match, but the winner was never in doubt. You knew they were going to go with Damian Priest picking up the win over Rey Mysterio. After the match, you would actually have Damian Priest get taken out by Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre standing tall with the title to really send the crowd home. I don't know, happy, because this is a heel versus heel match. And he would pose with the title, kind of send the crowd excited for a Clash at the Castle in a couple weeks. But that was Raw this week. Again, fun Raw. Really actually enjoyed a lot of it. But the main thing that I'm hating is this stupid Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio storyline. I really don't like it. Alrighty. Let's move on to Bragging Rights, shall we? Bragging Rights 2009, taking place from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Mellon Arena. Attendance rate of 13,000 with a buy rate of 181,000. October 25th, 2009. This was the first one they had of this, as you would actually have them try to make like this the Survivor Series of the year, and let Survivor Series just be teams from superstars, like what it is now with War Games. This is a pay-per-view I could actually see coming back now, since you have WWE have War Games and not it be Raw versus SmackDown. I could easily see them having Bragging Rights come back in a different way, since the traditional Survivor Series matches have gone the way of the dinosaurs because of War Games. But anyway, Bragging Rights would kick off with a dark match for the ECW Championship. Christian versus Paul Burchill, Pirate Paul Burchill, in his 7-minute match. Christian would pick up the win and retain his title. You would then get The Miz versus John Morrison. The Miz as your United States champion, John Morrison as your Intercontinental champion. The Miz would actually say this is one of his favorite matches of all time on a episode of WWE's Most Wanted Treasures. The Miz would pick up the win in a 10-minute match. Fun little match to watch, actually. I could see why The Miz really liked it. You will then get Beth Phoenix and Michelle McCool and Natalya of SmackDown versus versus Gail Kim, Kelly Kelly, and Melina in a Six Divas tag team match. Fun to see Gail Kim actually on a pay-per-view. That's something we don't usually see. This would be a nice 6 little minute match as women weren't given the full time yet. You would have Beth Phoenix, Michelle McCool, and Natalya pick up the win. Again, fun little match. Meh. And then you have a fatal 4-way match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, this is actually something funny. In both bragging rights, you would have The Undertaker in World Heavyweight Championship matches. One on this side of him defending his title against Batista, CM Punk, and Rey Mysterio, while on the other side of him challenging for the title against his brother Kane. This one, he was able to pick up the win as Rey Mysterio cost Batista the win, allowing The Undertaker to pin CM Punk. This would turn into Rey Mysterio and Batista actually breaking up their tag team, and Batista turning heel on Rey Mysterio. We then get a 14-man tag team match for the bragging rights trophy. You would have Team SmackDown, Chris Jericho, David Hart, Smith, Finley, Kane, Matt Hardy, R-Truth, and Tyson Kidd versus Team Raw, Big Show, Cody Rhodes, Jack Swagger, Kofi Kingston, Mark Henry, Shawn Michaels, The Game, Triple H. And yes, this is the match that spawned the great meme of Kofi Kingston. Basically, he was trying to rally the team on Raw, and you would actually have him say, you would actually have Triple H look at him and go, Kofi Kingston would say, "Hey, questions?" And Triple H would look at him and say, "Yeah, I got a question. Actually, I got a pretty big problem here." He would look at Kofi Kingston and go, "Aren't you supposed to be Jamaican? What happened to your accent?" And I thought that was hilarious. This day, it makes me laugh my ass off. You would have Team SmackDown pick up the win in a 15-minute match. A fun match to watch. Really makes bragging rights. Actually, a forgotten pay-per-view that I really actually enjoy. They would win the bragging rights trophy, and then you would get to your main event. A 60-minute anything goes Iron Man match. If Cena had lost, he would have been forced to leave the Raw brand. John Cena versus WWE Champion Randy Orton. It would start with a submission in 3 minutes 55 seconds. John Cena would make Randy Orton tap out. Randy Orton would then hit the RKO at 9 minutes to tie it up. You would then have a double pinfall, Randy Orton and John Cena pinning each other, making it 2-2. John Cena would hit the attitude adjustment from the top rope to make it 3-2. Randy Orton after a dream streak from Ted DiBiase, 3-3. Randy Orton a pinfall after throwing Cena through a lighting grid, 3-4. And that would be at the 25-minute mark. So this is 25 minutes into a 60-minute Iron Man match. We're halfway through, and it is 3-4 Randy Orton. So 7 pinfalls have occurred. You would then get John Cena with a pinfall of a small package, making it 4-4. Randy Orton hitting an elevated DDT from the ring apron to the floor to make it 4-5. John Cena with an attitude adjustment and making it 5-5. And then finally John Cena making Randy Orton tap out at 59-54 to win the match 6-5 with 11, count them, 11 pinfalls. Jesus fuck. Jesus, Mary and Joseph Stalin, how many can you get in this? It's definitely a fun match to go back and look at, because you really don't see the 60-minute Iron Man matches, especially because this one was no DQ, pinfalls count anywhere. I thought that was an awesome and definitely a great way to pique interest in a 60-man Iron Man match. All right, let's go to predictions now, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is for Nxt BattleGround from Enterprise, Nevada, Las Vegas, to UFC Apex. I believe this was originally supposed to be North Carolina, and it changed once it was originally supposed to be, I believe, Savannah, Georgia for Memorial Day. However, once the partnership with UFC came in, they changed it to be for the UFC Apex. So we have I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ladder match for the inaugural NXT North American Women's Champion. Now, apparently the talk is this may also lead to a Women's Intercontinental title for the main roster. So it's Ruka, Lash Legend, Fallon Henley, Jada Parker, Mi Chin, Mia Yim, and Kalani Jordan. I'm going with Lash Legend to pick up the win here. We then have a triple threat match of Oba Femi defending his North American Championship against Wes Lee and Joe Coffey. Look for Joe Coffey to pick up the win here. I think it's time. We then get Lola Vice versus Shayna Baszler in an NXT Underground match. Lola Vice is going to win this one. Yeah, right. And we then get Roxanne Perez defending her title against Jordynne Grace, TNA Women's Champion. I feel like Jordynne Grace picks up the win in this one, because apparently this isn't going to be the only crossover we have between NXT, actually WWE, and Impact. So that would actually be very cool to see. We then get Nathan Frazier and Axum versus the OC for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Nathan Frazier and Axum are going to retain here. They want the OC on the main roster with AJ Styles for this heel run, so I don't see the OC winning this match. And finally, a singles match for the North American Championship. This will be Trick Williams versus Ethan Page from AEW. Look for a title change here and Ethan Page picking up the win. How cool would that be? I would really like to see Ethan Page actually pick up the win here and really show, like, hey, listen, let's make this guy a star where they failed. I think it would be cool to see. Ugh. After all this, I could use a drink. How about a nice, tall glass of Back to Tank? Continuing the Star Wars little thing I've been finding on Facebook, I sell to Sin City Bartender. These guys are fun. So, here are the ingredients. 2 ounces of sour blue raspberry vodka, 6 ounces of Frostbite Mountain Dew, 1 ounce Citron vodka, and half an ounce of black cherry syrup. You got a tall glass, pour in your raspberry and your vodka, drop in a shot of Citron and syrup, and enjoy. Rated 9 out of 10 by Sensei Bartenders. Fun little drink to have. I enjoy it. I'm looking forward to drinking this more and more. It might even become a regular drink for me. And now it is time for the Battle Droid of the Week. The Battle Droid of the Week this week, Mercedes Moné, calling herself the greatest women's wrestler of all time. I'm so I can't say it with a straight face. It's so stupid. I guess we'll ignore Mae Young, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Lita, Trish Stratus, Michelle McCool. We'll ignore them all. Because Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné is on a power trip. Listen, amazing wrestler. And probably better than Michelle McCool. Give that credit where credit's due. But she's not better than Tori Wilson. She's not better than Trish Stratus. She's not better than Mae Young. She's not even the best 4 horsewoman. She's third, if not fourth. But again, we're ignoring a trailblazer named Mae Young here. So, because of her stupid, I'll even say she's not the best women's wrestler in AEW. There's a little woman called Toni Storm. There's another one called Thunder Rosa. I think Jordan Grace is a better wrestler than her. So, I think Io Sky and Asuka are better. You guys want a list? I'm giving you a list of who I think is better. This is the reason. Mercedes Moné, you are the BattleDroid of the Week. Congratulations.
Uh-oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. I have been the Big Guy. This has been Wrestling Made Simple. Next week, we will go into my predictions for Clash at the Castle in Glasgow, Scotland. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great week in wrestling.